Let me ask you something. Have you ever seen a guy just stand there doing absolutely nothing, yet somehow women are drawn to him like a magnet? No cheesy pickup lines, no over-the-top charm, just presence. And you start wondering, what? Does he have that I don't? Well, here's the truth most men don't realize. Women do want to approach men. They're curious, they notice, they think about it. But they only make a move when they feel invited. Now here's where it gets interesting. Most guys are unintentionally sending the wrong signals, not because they're doing something bad, but because they're doing nothing that makes a woman feel safe to cross the gap. I want to tell you a story. It's about a guy named David. He wasn't unattractive, he dressed well, confident enough. But every time he went out, it was like he disappeared into the background. Women didn't notice him, or worse, they noticed him, and then looked away. Why? Because David, like so many of us, had never learned one key truth. Attraction isn't just about looks. It's about the signals you send without saying a word. So before we get into the 5 subtle tricks that make women feel comfortable enough to approach you, let's get honest about this. Are you unknowingly pushing people away just by being too closed off, too distracted, or too uncertain of your own worth? If so, you're not alone. But it's time to flip that script. David was 29. Not bad looking, neat dresser, carried himself well. He wasn't one of those guys who fumbled every social moment. But still, whenever he went out, it felt like he became invisible. Not because he wasn't there, but because he didn't know how to be seen. One night at a buzzing bar, everything looked the same. Music loud, glasses clinking, people laughing in bursts. But then she appeared. Rachel, poised, confident, effortlessly magnetic, and for a moment, just a flicker, David saw her glance his way. He wasn't sure at first. Maybe it was nothing. But then it happened again. A second glance. A slight shift in her posture. She leaned just a little closer, angled her body in his direction. That unspoken invitation only women know how to give. But David looked down, pulled out his phone, scrolled, pretended not to notice. He thought, if she's really interested, she'll come over. But here's what most men never understand. A woman might open the door, but she won't walk through it if she thinks you've already locked it. Rachel gave him a window. All he had to do was smile. Hold eye contact for a second. Acknowledge her presence. But silence, especially the kind masked behind a phone screen, is often mistaken for rejection. 10 minutes later, another guy walked in. Not better looking, not taller, but more alive in the room. Rachel turned her attention, and her smile elsewhere. And David, he left that night thinking women never approach men. But the truth? She already had. Rachel turned away, not because she lost interest, but because she thought he had none. That's the part that stings, isn't it? You can be exactly what she's looking for, and still lose her, just because she didn't feel welcome. And then it happened. 10 minutes later, someone else walked in, not taller, not more attractive, not even better dressed, but he walked with ease, laughed with friends, talked to the bartender like he belonged in the moment. He wasn't trying to be noticed. He simply was, and Rachel noticed. She laughed. She leaned in. She listened. It didn't take long. A few minutes of social presence. And the opportunity David missed was now gone. You see, we like to think attraction is this magical, mysterious thing, that some guys just have it and others don't. But it's not true. Most men aren't getting rejected. They're just not being invited in. Because here's the quiet truth most people won't say out loud. Women rarely make the first move, unless they feel safe, seen, and subtly welcome to do so. And when you don't give them that safety, that openness, that signal, they won't risk the approach. So yes, David didn't get approached, but not because he wasn't good enough, because he didn't know he was the one holding the door shut the whole time. Here's the part no one really teaches you. You're always communicating, and even when you say nothing. Every glance you avoid, every arm you cross, every time you bury your face in your phone, you're sending a signal. And often it's the wrong one. Most men don't fail because they aren't good enough. They fail because they're not aware of what they're silently broadcasting. Let's break it down. Attraction, real organic attraction, is built on 5 quiet pillars. Eye contact. Do you hold it long enough to show confidence, but soft enough to feel safe? Body language. Are your arms open or folded? Is your posture grounded or defensive? Positioning. Are you standing in a way that invites connection, or hiding in the shadows of the room? Energy. Do you look like someone who enjoys being alive, or someone waiting for the night to end? Visibility. Are you even visible in the social space you're? Now here's the truth. Every room is a conversation without words, and women are experts at reading that language. She doesn't need a pickup line. She's watching how you carry yourself when you think no one is watching. So the question becomes, what are you saying when you're not saying anything at all? You don't need to change who you are. You just need to become conscious of the presence you bring, because in the end it's not about trying harder, it's about signaling better. Let's start with something deceptively simple. Eye contact. Not staring, not locking eyes like you're in a duel, just holding a look for a second longer than usual, and then a slow, calm smile. You'd be amazed how rare that is these days. We live in a world of distractions. Headphones in, eyes down, everyone hiding in the glow of their screens. But presence, real presence, is magnetic. When you look someone in the eye and offer a quiet, confident smile, you send 2 powerful messages: I see you, and I'm not afraid to be seen. That moment, it's an invitation. It doesn't pressure her to act, but it makes her feel safe to respond. Think back to David. All Rachel needed was that look, that micro gesture that says, "You're welcome here." But he looked away, and in doing so she saw a closed door. Eye contact is one of the oldest human signals of trust. Infants seek it. Animals respond to it. And adults, especially in the chaos of social spaces, crave it. So next time someone catches your eye, don't flinch. Don't hide behind a sip of your drink or a scroll through Instagram. Meet their gaze. Let your smile say what your words don't need to, because sometimes the shortest moment of connection is the one that changes everything. Let's talk about something that seems so small, but makes a massive difference: where you stand. Now I know that sounds almost silly, but take a moment and think back to the last time you were at a social event, a bar, a wedding, maybe just a Friday night at a friend's house. Where were you standing, be honest? Were you tucked into a corner, leaning against a wall, arms crossed, scrolling your phone, maybe sipping a drink just to look busy? I get it. That feels safe. But here's the truth. You can't be approached. If you're invisible, women don't want to climb a mountain just to say hi. If they have to weave through a crowd, tap your shoulder, interrupt your scroll, they probably won't. So here's a better way. Place yourself where conversation flows naturally, near the bar, in the middle of a walking path, close to the action, but not in the center of chaos. You don't have to be loud. You just have to be available. Social positioning isn't about taking over a room. It's about placing yourself in it with intention, because your location isn't just a choice, it's a message. It says, I'm open, I'm part of this moment. I'm not hiding. And when a woman sees that, approaching you doesn't feel risky, it feels easy. Have you ever walked into a room, and without saying a word, people could already tell who was open and who wasn't? That's not magic. That's body language. Your body speaks before you do. And whether you realize it or not, she's already reading it. Every crossed arm, every hunched shoulder, every slouched posture is saying, I'm closed off. I'm not available. Please don't. And she listens. Now the good news is this. It only takes a few subtle shifts to change your entire energy. Relax your shoulders. Stand tall, but not stiff. Keep your arms uncrossed, your hands visible, your posture open. This isn't about looking like a superhero. It's about feeling at ease in your own skin and letting that comfort invite connection. Remember, confidence isn't just loud. Sometimes it's quiet posture, a relaxed stance, a body that says, I'm here, and I'm okay with being seen. Women notice that, even before you say hello, even across the room. They pick up on tension and they gravitate toward calm. So ask yourself, What is your body saying when your mouth is quiet? Because in social spaces, the people who are approached first aren't always the most attractive, but the ones who feel the most approachable. There's a kind of energy that doesn't need to speak, because it's already being felt. It's what I call social energy, and it's one of the most magnetic forces in any room. Let me ask you something. If you walked into a bar and saw two men, one standing alone, sipping a drink, staring into space, and the other laughing with friends, chatting with the bartender, engaging with the moment, who would you rather walk toward? Exactly. We're naturally drawn to life, to movement, to warmth, to people who are already enjoying themselves because they feel safe, alive, open. And that's the kind of space women are far more likely to approach. Here's the truth. No one wants to walk into your silence and try to fix it. They want to join what's already happening. So the next time you're out, talk to someone, anyone, your friends, the staff, the guy next to you in line. Don't perform. Just be present. Smile when something's funny. React to the music. Engage with the moment. Because your vibe isn't just a mood, it's an invitation. And when you radiate comfort and connection, you're no longer waiting to be noticed. You become hard to ignore. Let me share a little secret. Sometimes the difference between being seen and being overlooked is just one item. It could be a vintage watch that belonged to your grandfather, a jacket with a bold color most men are too scared to wear, a ring with a strange symbol that sparks curiosity, or a t-shirt that says something just clever enough to start a conversation. It doesn't have to scream. It just has to whisper something interesting. Here's why this works. Most people want an excuse to talk to you. Something small, something harmless. A reason to ask, hey, that's a cool pin. What's the story behind it? Women especially appreciate when the first move doesn't feel like a risk. And a conversation starter item, that makes it easy. Without it, you might blend into the crowd, even if you're amazing. Because let's be honest, in a room full of solid color shirts and safe outfits, a single spark stands out. So think of it this way. That one small thing you wear, it's not about fashion. It's about permission. You're giving the world a reason to say hello. And sometimes all it takes is one good question to change how the night ends. Here's something simple, but surprisingly powerful. Leave a conversation hook, a sentence, a small comment, said out loud, just enough for someone nearby to hear. Not a pickup line, not a monologue, just something that nudges curiosity. Let me paint the picture. You're at a cafe. You order something unusual, let's say a lavender espresso. The barista hands it to you, and casually you say, loud enough for the table next to you to hear, well, this is either going to be incredible or absolutely terrible, that's it. You're not fishing for attention. You're just leaving a trail of curiosity in the air, and here's what happens. Someone nearby smiles. Maybe even says, so, which one was it? Boom. The door opens, effortlessly, naturally, because people don't need perfect openings, they just need an excuse to join your world. The best part, it doesn't put pressure on you or them. It's light, playful, human, and in a world full of filters, rehearsed lines, and everyone pretending to be too cool, genuine curiosity feels like fresh air. So next time you're out, leave a line hanging. Let it float. Let it invite. You never know who might catch it. Let's bring it all home. You've probably been told that attraction is about looks, that if you're not tall enough, rich enough, handsome enough, then you'd better get used to being invisible. But here's the truth no one talks about. Enough? Attraction is energy. It's how you carry yourself. It's what your presence says before your mouth ever opens. It's the quiet confidence in your eye contact, the openness in your body language, the ease you bring into a room. Just by being at peace with yourself, you don't need to chase. You never did. Because when you show up confident, not arrogant but grounded, when your posture says I'm here and your vibe says I'm open, people feel it, women feel it. And when you offer that kind of energy, when you're engaged with the space around you, when you leave subtle signals that say you're welcome to talk to me, they don't feel threatened. They feel invited. And that's the moment everything shifts. So stop trying to impress. Start trying to connect. Not louder, not flashier. just more human. Because in the end, confidence, presence, and openness have always been more attractive than perfection ever was. If something in this video spoke to you, a moment, an idea, a shift in how you see yourself, then don't just let it fade, let it land, let it grow, and maybe let it guide how you show up from now on. Because confidence, it's not a voice you shout with. It's a presence that speaks even when you're silent. If you felt that today, if something clicked, drop a comment below and write, "Confidence is key." That one line lets me know you're part of this journey. Not just watching, but showing up. For yourself, for your growth. For the version of you that doesn't need to chase, because he already stands tall. And if you know someone, a friend, a brother, a co-worker, who's been struggling silently with dating, with connection, with showing up as their full self, send this to them. Not as advice, as a reminder that they're not broken, just maybe a bit unplugged from who they already are. And if you haven't yet, hit subscribe. This channel isn't about tricks. It's about truth. It's about learning how to live, love, and lead with quiet power. Because real confidence doesn't demand attention. It earns it, one grounded moment at a time. And if this video gave you something, a shift in perspective, a reminder of your worth, or simply a sense that you're not alone in all this, then I invite you to subscribe. Not just to a channel, but to a space where we grow, reflect, and build confidence that doesn't shout, but echoes. Every week we'll dive deeper into the psychology, the mindset, the real tools that help you lead with presence, not pressure. So if you're ready to stop chasing and start attracting, hit that subscribe button, and remember, real change doesn't start out loud. It starts with small decisions like this one.